Hi guys. So the section that I did for this presentation was Matthew chapter 7 verses 7 through 12. I did this section because I thought that it had a lot of interesting parts to it that would be good to put into the three different worlds. So for starters, for the literary world, um, pretty much what Jesus is speaking in these sections, and he says, "Ask and it will be given to you; search and you will find; knock and the door will be opened for you. For everyone who asks receives, and everyone who searches finds. For everyone who knocks, the door will be opened." So, what Jesus is saying is that if you ask, you shall be given. And I think the gospel from Matthew is trying to reiterate that all you have to do is give your heart wholeheartedly to the Lord and do as he says, and he will receive you. So I think that it goes both um, literally and, of course, for other things as well. So when he states, ask and it will be given, you search and you will find, he is speaking very straightforward here in the passage, but with gross exaggeration. He does this to make sure his point is made loud and clear. He is also comparing his love for his people, such as that we have for our own biological children. Just like your own child, you do anything in your power to make sure that every request is met, and so does Jesus. So he's trying to tell his listeners what to do, how to do it, and also what not to do. Um, and he's really just teaching the way of righteousness. And I think this is actually the first and longest of Jesus's 5 discourses in Matthew. It's still toward the beginning of the story of Matthew, and it really just begins to expand on what Jesus taught in his adult life while he was here on earth. For the historical world, the quotes themselves are Jesus teaching in the Sermon on the Mount. As far as the historical world aspect of the passage, we know it's from Matthew retelling what he heard Jesus speak on the mountain. This would be pretty much right after the baptism for Jesus and his temptation, his 40 days in the wilderness. He goes and picks his disciples, and he pretty much immediately begins here teaching one of his first ones, one of his first long ones to quite a crowd of people. Um, at the time, the people then didn't really have a direct link to God, at least not one that they were completely sure of. There was a lot of confusion, I think, as far as what a Christian or someone who followed the God would do or say, or how they would act or be with other people in their life. At the time, social culture really believed simply and misconstrued what God expected from them. Jesus is letting them know it's not just don't murder, it's also to forgive people. It's not just not be evil, but to genuinely be nice to everyone. Matthew stresses all throughout his gospel that Jesus was sent here for us. His gospel really highlights the path to God and what he wants from us. And lastly, for the contemporary world, just knowing both different aspects of these two worlds helps understand the main focal point of Jesus' teaching and his word. The text is showing us that we won't be forgotten or ignored by the Lord as long as we follow him completely. And it also explains what following him is and how to live your life that way. Matthew's book emphasizes these expectations from Jesus of what's expected of us. So I think it's a really important part of Matthew's story. Thank you.